Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm Dan H and welcome back to the project. It is a super hot and humid Labor Day weekend. It's 90 degrees, so we're out here just chilling underneath the Project Beach Jeep. Figured while we're at it, we might as well drop this NP242 select track transfer case. So to start that, we're going to take off this rear drive shaft. The front drive shaft's been long gone. Then we're going to drop this cross member, and out should come this transfer case. So let's see how it's done. So when I take off the rear drive shafts, I usually use this 1/4-inch socket. I've had great success using an 8mm socket on a little swivel with just a little extension. In case I want to reuse this drive shaft, I'm just going to mark where it lines up. Alright, next up I'm going to detach the transmission from the crossmember, and there's 4 13mm bolts right up in here in the middle. Alright, I sprayed these with PB Blast about an hour ago. Oh, here we go. It's moving. Try not to break bolts. Excellent. I got all 4 loose. Alright, so I took the weight off the crossmember by jacking up the transmission ever so slightly, and now I'm going to take off the 4 15mm bolts holding on the crossmember to the frame. There's 2 on either side, so let's do it. That's exactly what I didn't want to happen. So Dan on the driver's side did everything right. Got the nut off and the bolt off with no problem, using some PB Blast and some heat. Dan on the passenger side done messed up. Got the nut off, but snapped off the bolt. So one day I'll make a video on how to drill out a broken off bolt and retap it. Alright, up next we're going to take off these two 18mm bolts that attach this bracket to the cross member. I'm going to start this off with the 18mm socket, about a 4-inch extension, and a breaker bar to get some torque on it. Now back to a regular socket. Notice the blue thread locker. I'm gonna have to reuse some thread locker when I put it back in. Okay, so we're here underneath the driver's side of the transmission and transfer case. So while it's still jacked up on this log, we're going to go and take off the linkage to the transfer case, and I'm also going to access this 14mm or 9/16 nut on the bottom here. And then I'm going to go ahead and drop the transmission off the jack, and then we'll get to the rest of the bolts. Alright, so we got the transmission and transfer case down nice and low. We're going to take off the rest of the 6 bolts that hold on the transfer case to the transmission. But first, I'm just going to take off this breather line and the other 2 connections. And up here on the back, we have the speedometer cable. I'm just going to take off this clip. Comes right off. Alright, the only thing holding it on is the last 6 bolts. So I'm going to grab this with a longer and skinnier 9/16. Way up top. Alright, let's go to the other side. No. No. The oil pan. No. So that was a huge fail. I dropped the transfer case on top of the oil pan. Now I have transmission fluid all over my slab. Ugh. Well, at least it's out. Alright guys, this NP242 select track transfer case is out of here. Wasn't a terrible job. Some bolts are a little bit hard to get to and it's extremely messy, but it wasn't bad. The next time you see a transfer case on Project Beach Jeep, it's going to be NP231 command track transfer case. We're going to put a slip yoke eliminator on it. I really like the full-time four-wheel drive of the NP242. That's great for the street, but on Beach Jeep we're going off-road and I want the strength of the NP231. So that's going to do it for this video. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project when we pull the engine.